You know, the incredible instantaneous speed of the modern internet, it didn't just happen. It was actually forged in a quiet digital rivalry. And today we are diving deep into that very story. A battle of speed, of philosophy, and of two technologies that absolutely changed everything. The in-memory clash between Redis and Memcached.
It all kicks off with a really simple universal problem. As the web just exploded in popularity, the traditional databases reading from those old spinning hard disks, they just couldn't keep up. When you're trying to serve thousands of users at once, every single millisecond of delay feels like forever. The old way of doing things had become a serious bottleneck.
So that's the big question, right? If disks were the problem, what on earth was the solution? How did we get from these kind of sluggish, database-driven sites to the real-time web that we all just expect today? Well, the answer lies in a pretty radical new way of thinking.
So how did they crack it? The first part of our story is all about this need for speed. And the answer wasn't just, building faster computers. It was a fundamental rethink about where our data should even live in the first place.
And this right here, this is the core idea. The breakthrough was to store data directly in a computer's RAM, its memory, instead of on a disk. I mean, since accessing RAM is literally thousands of times faster than accessing a disk, this promised a massive, unbelievable leap in performance. And just like that, the in-memory database was born.
And from this one single, powerful idea, the battlefield was set. Two totally different philosophies and two major rivals would emerge to define this entire era of in-memory computing: Redis and Memcached.
So first on the scene was Memcached, born way back in 2003, out of the needs of the huge blogging platform LiveJournal. It was the original, the incumbent. Then, 6 years later, in 2009, a new challenger shows up, Redis, created by an Italian developer named Salvatore Sanfilippo, and he had a slightly different vision in mind.
The best way to think about it is like this. On one hand, you've got Memcached. It's like a specialized racing drone. It's built to do one thing and do it exceptionally well: carry simple data from point A to point B as fast as humanly possible. Then you have Redis, which is much more like a Swiss Army knife. It took that same core idea of speed and just added a whole toolkit of features, turning a simple cache into a super versatile, powerful database.
And this difference, it wasn't just a small technical detail. No, it led to a fundamental clash of philosophies that would shape the debate among developers for years and years. It was really a battle of simplicity versus capability. This one question, it just perfectly captures the whole divide. It was the question every single developer had to answer for themselves. Were you looking for a simple, ridiculously fast layer to just reduce the load on your main database? Or did you need something more powerful, a tool that could handle complex data right there in memory?
Okay, now what's really cool about this is how it breaks down their core differences. So, Memcached, over on the left, was all about simplicity. Its goal was pure, blazing speed. It only handled simple strings of text, and it was totally volatile, meaning if the server restarted, poof, the data was gone. But Redis on the right was all about capability. It gave you these complex data types like lists and sets, and, this is critical, it offered persistence. It could actually save its data to a disk so it wouldn't be lost if the server went down.
So with these two competing visions out there, the stage was set for the adoption wars. Now we get to see how this battle of ideas played out in the real world as developers and even entire companies started to pick a side. Memcached, with its laser focus on speed and simplicity, became the go-to tool for the absolute titans of the web. We're talking Facebook, Twitter, Wikipedia. They all used it to slash their database load and keep their pages loading instantly for millions of users. And its volatility? That wasn't a bug. It was actually a feature. For something like a social media feed, if a cached post disappeared for a second, no big deal. The system just grabs it again from the database. That trade-off was totally worth it for pure, unadulterated speed.
Redis, though, it found its home in a completely different universe of problems. Its powerful data structures weren't just about speeding up web pages. They made entirely new kinds of applications possible. Developers started using it to build real-time analytics dashboards, high-speed message queues for background jobs, and real-time chat systems. It wasn't just making things faster, it was making new things possible.
And another key difference popped up in how their ecosystems evolved. Memcached pretty much stayed as a pure, community-driven open-source project. Redis, on the other hand, was eventually commercialized by a company, which built enterprise-level support and services around it, and that really helped drive its adoption in bigger corporations.
So, after years and years of competition, where did that leave us? Let's take a look at the final impact of this whole rivalry, their indispensable legacy.
You see, the crucial point here is that this wasn't a story with just one winner. Memcached was the pioneer. It proved that large-scale in-memory caching was not just possible but absolutely essential for scaling the web. Then Redis came along and just blew that horizon wide open, proving that these systems could be true, powerful databases in their own right. And together, their competition just pushed the entire field forward, faster than ever.
So ultimately, we, the developers and the users, were the real winners. The constant innovation that was fueled by this rivalry gave all of us the tools to build the fast, responsive, and complex applications that we completely rely on every single day. They didn't just build two pieces of software, they really built a foundation for the modern internet.
And that is the essential thing to take away from all this. The battle between Redis and Memcached was never just a technical contest of which one was a few milliseconds faster. It was a battle of ideas. One vision that valued elegant simplicity, and another that championed expansive capability. And in the end, it turns out, the web needed both.